What up, dude? So another frequently asked question that I get because of my experience having dealt with injuries is the question of, what do I do to give myself confidence in the sense of coming back from a surgery and trusting that I'm not going to blow out, or struggling to really like let it go, and throw and go about certain tasks that are required in baseball after a surgery. So this is something that I've actually been fortunate enough to never really kind of deal with, as far as like talking about the mental side of things when you do have a surgery. So say, for example, you have a Tommy John surgery that puts you out a year and change, right? And it's such a grueling process to go through, and it sucks, and injuries in general suck, takes you away from something that you love. But there's always that kind of like mental constraint within somebody to not really fully trust that your arm's not going to blow out again, because that's the last thing anyone wants after having gone through a rehab process and having gone through the injuries and all of that stuff. Again, I speak from personal experience. So I really want to tackle this as far as like something that I've always told myself, and that's something that's always kind of helped me. Again, it's not going to be the same for everybody, but hopefully some of these words can be an encouraging thing for you, and maybe you can just reiterate to yourself. But as you guys know that have followed me for a long time, I'm really big on controlling the controllables. And I think this goes, obviously you can kind of say that to any type of dynamic within the baseball or performance industry, but it really holds true when talking about the rehab process and talking about going through an injury. Because if you really simplify the whole entire process, if you really look at, outside looking in, it's what is like the biggest fear? Obviously, biggest fear, having come back and now struggling to mentally get over that hump of letting it go and throwing at max intent. Obviously the biggest negative that could happen again is you break down and you get hurt, or you re-injure yourself, right? But think about it in terms of what are the things that you could be doing to make sure that doesn't happen again. And then ask the question of, are you doing those things? Are you checking those boxes to make sure that it doesn't happen again? So what I mean by that is, say it's about identifying why you broke down in the first place. Now, obviously that's kind of the biggest hurdle, because that's such a broad scope. There's so many things, so many variables that could potentially, factor in to why would someone get hurt. So I think as soon as you identify that, and then as soon as you kind of put a plan into motion as far as like how to best go about solving those issues during your rehab process, it'll put you in a lot better position to come back and kind of, again, mentally break that barrier of trusting to let it go. So for me, in my example, in my injury process, working with Dr. Josh Heenan and having that hands-on approach, and when we really identified it and we really broke it down, we noticed that I had a huge breakdown occurring because of my lack of trunk stability, and because of my bodies and my natural athleticism in a way was making these minor adjustments, compensation, if you will, throughout my delivery. And then that's how my lat blew out and whatnot. So as soon as we identified that, we really tackled that in a training program, and made sure that my throwing mechanics were authentic, and then so on and so forth. So what I say to you is to make sure that you have that identification process of why did the injury occur in the first place, what happened, and then I think that will give you a better kind of mental comfort, if you will, of coming back and knowing that the adjustments had been made. Therefore, when you do come back and throw and you start letting it go a little bit, that, like I said, you can just be a little bit more comfortable in the fact that the problem has been resolved. So I think a lot of people that kind of put their backs up against a wall, yikes, that was tough, are the guys that, have a breakdown, have a drastic surgery, miss a lot of time, and then come back and they don't change anything. And then it's like, well, who's to say that this isn't going to happen again, right? That's that kind of tough question, or just statement that surrounds our minds as athletes, right? But yeah, I think if you are someone watching this and thinking to yourselves like, okay, well, how am I supposed to identify that? What if I don't know? That's what my whole, and it's not a shameless plug or anything, but like that's what my whole mechanical analysis service is. Usually, you know, or a screening process like that can really screen for certain deficiencies, right? Like I wouldn't have known if I didn't have a trunk instability issue if I didn't go get, you know, a screen by Dr. Heenan. So with all that being said, let me know if there's anything that I could do to provide further assistance. Hopefully that helps. Talk to you guys later.